That's right. We're halfway through the James Bond franchise. This one is a Living Daylights with brand new Bond Timothy Dalton making his two-film debut after Roger Moore retired. Of course, Timothy Dalton was just one of the names they interviewed for this franchise. They interviewed Sam Neill, who Cubby Broccoli, who was behind the Bond franchise, really wanted Sam Neill, but Sam Neill wasn't really too interested in doing a Bond film. I think he would have been fucking awesome in the picture because he really looks pretty well. And they also wanted Pierce Brosnan. So they decided to go with Pierce Brosnan. Unfortunately, Pierce Brosnan, who was doing Remington Steele TV show at that time, couldn't get out of his contract. The show was canceled, but as soon as they started showing interest in making him the next Bond, they said, shit, we're going to re-up that for another year. So Pierce Brosnan had to go back to doing Remington Steele. A little tidbit, Stephanie Zimbalist, who was his co-star in Remington Steele, was also up for the Ann Lewis part in RoboCop. She couldn't take that, so that went to the what's her face there? Now I can't remember her name, but she got the part instead of Stephanie Zimbalist. So they re-interviewed Timothy Dalton, had him come back in. Timothy Dalton agreed and took the part and became the next James Bond. And this movie finds James Bond doing some little wargaming in the beginning of this movie and getting into a little scrape with some rogue agents, KGB agents, who have initiated this new program called Spishnonim. I can't even fucking pronounce it. It means death to all spies. So they had hatch a plot with a a Russian defector, General Koskov, to come spill the beans on this whole thing being devised by KGB General Pushkin. Well, it turns out that Pushkin's not doing it, Koskov's doing it, and Bond has to kind of work his way along with Koskov's girlfriend, going through Czechoslovakia and all sorts of stuff coming up. And this movie was $40 million, made $190 million at the box office, did rather well, featured a score from John Barry, one of my personal favorites. I love the music in this movie, along with a brand new Moneypenny, who really shows up just how good Lois Maxwell was in the role, because all the future Moneypennies are pretty unrememberable. Lois Maxwell remade that part her own. Q returns, M returns, and to talk about all of this, first time watching, it's Dylan. How you doing, Dylan?
What up, brother?
So brand new James Bond time here. We have Timothy Dalton, who previous to this was probably best known for playing one of the parts in Flash Gordon. He was also in, what else was he in, Timothy Dalton? He was in a bunch of stuff.
Doom Patrol. I know the name.
Well, Doom Patrol after now, but I've been talking about back then. Back then, probably Flash Gordon was probably what he was best remembered for.
Probably.
But, he came in, and I saw this movie, of course, when it came out in 1987. I always have liked this picture because for me, after watching the last movie, which I enjoyed, but Roger Moore was really old in it and not very believable. I think Timothy Dalton brought youth back to the part. All his action scenes are very believable. His chase scenes are very believable. I think he kind of made the role kind of like an amalgam between Sean Connery, where he could be tough, especially with the ladies, and he could also say a quip here and then, but a more serious Bond that has a few gadgets, but not really over the top. The whole plot was kind of a more reserved plot where they're going through the motions of trying to get this guy to give them the poop on the deal. And they find out that he's palling around with a American's arms dealer so that he can not only make money off selling arms, but also buying opium with that money and then making even more money. And James Bond has to go through the motions, this time with his girlfriend, who's a cellist, and they kind of work through the adventure. There's some great stuff in this. We got a lot of good snow time stuff, a lot of good winter stuff. It's a nice chase scene where they're actually going down the hill on the you're muted, going down a chase scene on the okay, I can hear you this time. Going down the chase scene on the cello. We got some good car stuff, a great ice chase scene with the car. And we'll talk about some of the other stuff in there. But what's your initial thoughts on The Living Daylights?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
And a new James Bond.
I thought Timothy Dalton was really good, and I thought that opening was badass, and I heard he did a lot of his stunts that he could do, if not all of them.
Right.
The one girl, she was okay. The cello player, she wasn't bad.
Miriam Diabo, yeah.
I thought it like most of the way it was really strong. I thought the ending kind of fizzled out a little bit, but it was definitely a really good film. I know what year did this take place?
87 it came out.
87. So yeah, I get all. I mean, obviously the Russian KGB thing, all that, and the Cold War going on. It was I thought Timothy Dalton actually was really fucking great and a nice switch up, and he definitely played the part well. It's kind of crazy that he only got 2 movies, because I think he did a damn fine job. I actually really liked him.
Yeah, there was a strike in the middle of it, and a strike and some other stuff that caused it to kind of get delayed. And then by the time they came back, he was pretty much tied up or wasn't interested in doing it any longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, this is John Glenn's, the director's final picture, the last one he did. This is the last movie that was actually based on a Ian Fleming novel.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
That wouldn't happen again until Casino Royale with Daniel Craig.
Wow. Holy shit.
The other movies are all pretty much standalone originals.
Is that because of rights or something? Like something?
No, they pretty much ran out of novels.
Okay.
But
so after that, they just kind of started making up their own stories then.
Exactly, yeah. And then
more like remakes off of the older books. The books that they'd already done. They're new books.
They're all originals. Then the only one that was based on a book was Casino Royale. The other ones were all original stories.
Oh, okay. So Casino Royale is the only one based off book. The rest are all just
like
the future ones coming. Wow.
Right.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I really love the music in this too. This is I think the last score from John Barry as well.
The score was fantastic.
John Barry, I don't know if he passed away. No, I think he just stopped doing them. But this is John Barry's last score.
Wow.
And I like the main song by Aha, which is an 80s group. That was okay.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of A View to a Kill, sort of. But I thought the score itself was
incredible.
I really like the score.
With that opening, man. Once he's like, once it really starts,
all the stuff
chasing him down when he's running down that hill, like the music just kicks in.
All the stuff in the desert with the plane, I thought was fantastic. I thought that was done so good. This score is one of my favorite James Bond scores. And it's a long movie, but it's an interesting movie. I mean, we get that. I think it's Jürgen. I forget Jürgen Prochnow that did the Joel Koskoff. He was good in the role. He was kind of slightly comedic. The main henchman there was that blonde guy, the milkman guy. That scene they did at the and it's an interesting thing because you don't know what's going on. You find out that he's being his whole kidnapping plan was put in motion by the fact that he thought if the girl was shooting at him, they would buy his defection. Then once they get to that area where they have him, he actually breaks himself out, but you don't know that. You think the Russians are doing it, and he's putting it all on Gino Pushkin, who is who was the actor that did Pushkin in? That guy was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he was in the latest Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was in the really good actor there, the guy that played Gino Pushkin.
Oh, John Rhys Davies.
John Rhys Davies, who was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was Sulla, and he's great in this too. And the girl, she's a little dull. And
he's Gimli in Lord of the Rings too.
Right. And we have, she's okay. This came out in the 80s. So there was a big edict at the time because we were in the middle of the raging AIDS crisis that they were afraid to show Bond sleeping with all these different women. So they really cut back on that. And that's why in this movie he's more or less, except for the girl he beds in the beginning when he goes, "I'll be there in an hour." Oh, better make it 2.
Yeah,
when he goes in the
I
boat.
love that. Hell yeah. That is like a perfect way to end the
Right.
opening, like opening.
Right. But we only get him with one girl really in this whole movie because
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
they were afraid that because of the AIDS, so they kind of slicked
Yeah,
back
he
on
doesn't
that.
get. Well, then he makes out with the cello girl at the end. That's about it.
Well, that's what I mean. But he stays with her. She's the only one he
Well, okay,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
movie,
I thought
right?
you meant, yeah, because he's
Yeah,
not
he's
like
pretty
getting.
monogamous. He's not betting everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not doing much of the.
Right.
His pimp hand ain't too strong in this one. Sean
Well,
Connery. Sean Connery.
yeah, but he did get kind of pissed off with it. And he got he had a little bit more
Yeah,
fire than Roger Moore did. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, definitely.
Especially after his other agent guy got killed by the sliding door. That was a great scene where he gets cut in half, and he's all pissed off. Then
Right.
we get probably the most nudity in a Bond flick with Pushkin's wife there, half naked when he rips her clothes off, and then the guy comes in, and then he ends up shooting the guy because he's looking at the broad there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this. I mean, I love the stuff when they're breaking out of that prison and we get that big Russian guard.
Yeah.
And then we get the guy in the jail who we think's just some fool there, and he ends up being the leader of the Mujahideen, who's the Afghani rebels there, going against the Russians. This movie was very topical because in the 80s, this is what we were going up against. But
that's the 80s for you, man.
Yeah.
They're always Americans against the Russians. Americans against the Russians.
And those Mujahideen who Bond allies against the Russians ended up being the people we say are terrorists now because basically we let them to be slaughtered by we used them to fight the Russians, and then we said you're on your fucking own. They all got wiped out and killed. Kind of why they don't like us, but regardless of all that political crap, some great scene, Bond flying that plane. We had that great midair fight scene with a stacks of shit.
Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, stole that because there's a scene where he's falling off like the rope bat, like the.
Yeah, was that Mission Impossible 3?
No, I want to say that might be 5 or 6.
Oh, maybe 5. Yeah.
Fallout. I think it's Fallout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Fallout with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Not what the last one, Rogue Nation, was 7. Yeah, it was Fallout. It was Fallout. But
not only does Bond have to go up against that, he has to go up against the bomb that's still in the plane there. And I love, of course, he still had that one line, and when he comes back in the plane, what happened to him? Oh, I gave him the boot after he cuts the shoe off.
Right.
So Dalton can still drop a shit ass line once in a while.
Right.
It's a few less of them. They had a great scene. I love this scene with Q. And Q and Bond seem to be a little bit better odds, and that really, he's a little bit nicer to Q than the rest of them were. But I like Q's ghetto blaster. We're testing this for the Americans. It's called a ghetto blaster.
Right. Yeah, I thought this one had some cool gadgets in it too, man. A little bit more, like, obviously the fact, like, this is later 80s, so I mean RoboCop's been out and all this, so they added a little bit more gadgets where they're doing that chase and they split that car like right through the wheels, and then just the top part like is just going down the street, and then the bombs come out, blow that truck through so they can slide through. So I did like to see a little bit, at least the car, because that was always one thing where the cars got some gadgets in it, so that was cool to really see. And I thought that was awesome though when it cuts the car like in half, like not the way you think, just like through the tires. I thought that was sweet.
And then he had they had the blades on the real rims that cuts the hole perfectly round hole, so the other car drops through it.
Of course.
So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I thought Timothy Dalton definitely shined through, man, and I really enjoyed it. I think Robbie was saying this is like one of his favorites of all time.
Yeah,
I see a lot of people say that this opening is one of their all-time favorite Bond like openings, which I really did enjoy that. And I try to dive into a little bit of like behind the scenes because I guess they said they like they figured out Timothy Dalton like on the spot, like within like 15 minutes or something. Like it
well,
was
no, as I said in the open, they wanted Sam Neill, but Sam
Sam
Neill
Neill.
turned them down. Yeah, they wanted
Okay.
Sam Neill, and Sam Neill
Somebody
and Sam Neill would have been good.
And he said they had like 15 minutes to pick. And
No, they wanted Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Then they went to Pierce Brosnan, and he couldn't get out of his contract. And then they went to Timothy Dalton.
Really?
They gave it to Dalton, but they really wanted Sam Neill, and they wanted, I guess Broccoli, who's the head guy, didn't like Dalton, but in the end, Dalton got it. They called him back, and he did get the part.
Yeah,
Dalton wasn't sure he was going to take it either.
I don't think Sam Neill. I don't
know. Sam Neill, it's tough to say, but back then he was younger.
He was younger, but so I'm thinking of him back like Roadhouse days even. But he does. I don't think he'd have the accent. He's
no. You think of Sam Elliott. I'm Sam Neill.
Oh, Sam Neill from fucking In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
No, not even that. That's worse. Sam Elliott, I'd probably take a little bit more. Well,
Sam Elliott's American, so that wouldn't work at all. But
yeah, that's why I said because he's got more of that country.
Yeah, they also contemplated getting Mel Gibson. They contemplated Mel Gibson too. No. And Mel Gibson wouldn't have worked either.
The only one I like out of that is Timothy Dalton or Pierce Brosnan. Obviously, right. I don't like Sam Neill because I don't know what it is, but I've seen him in Jurassic Park, and he like just him being all tuxed out like a Bond. Like I just don't see it.
I think you can pull it off. He's a good actor.
And Sam Neill, like no offense, but Sam Neill is just not as handsome and like suave as like a Connery. I just don't see Neill as a lady killer. Like
he would have been my first pick.
Yeah,
I think Timothy Dalton. I think of all the first Bond, movies, I think he has the strongest movie and the strongest intro is Bond.
I can't lie, dude. What's the one? Her Majesty's Secret Service. Right. That's a damn good film too, man.
Well, it is, yeah.
As a Bond, I'd go Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, I thought George Lazenby did a pretty good. He looked a lot like Connery, and he did pretty well. He wasn't given.
He had great fight scenes, but obviously he wasn't like an actor. He was a model. So but.
Dalton is not what you would say a big guy, but he fits the part.
But none of them are. Roger Moore's not a big guy. Sean Connery is, I'd say, the biggest of them all. Out of even Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig, I'd say Connery was like the biggest. Well,
I think in my pantheon of Bonds, I would say he's probably my third favorite. Would be Timothy Dalton. He'd be. For me, he would be ahead of Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Because most people only like two of Pierce Brosnan.
Well, I say Pierce Brosnan's best movie, which we'll see soon, is GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And after that, they kind of went to shit. Not horrible, but they ain't great either. But
obviously we're going to talk about it next week. But do you like his next film better than the first out of Timothy Dalton?
No.
Because you said this is the next one they go out on their own. This is
the next one is it was kind of like they try to make it like Bond but not Bond.
Okay.
It's a very anti-Bond movie in it. It's more like if you took Bond and you dropped him in Miami Vice. Sort of. It's not a bad movie.
If this is 80, because they said between. What was the last one? Between Roger Moore's last film and this, that was one of the biggest gaps between Bond films, ever.
I think the true test, it is, and I think a true test of this is Roger Moore was that was 85, wasn't it? And this was 87, so it was only 2 years here. The largest gap is between. Yeah, the largest gap is. They took like 7 years off between. Timothy Dalton's last one and Pierce Brosnan.
Maybe that's what it was then.
Big gap between those two.
Yeah, I must have misheard the guy. What was the last one?
I think a true test. The true test of a Bond movie is, could you see? I could see Roger Moore in this movie. I think this movie works no matter who's in it. If
definitely.
Connery's in it or Moore's in it, it would work. And
Yeah,
that
and
really helps things
it's
out.
done by John Glenn too, who obviously we know did For Your Eyes Only, which is fantastic film. Octopussy, which good one, weird ending, and dresses Roger Moore up as a clown, but still a good film.
Well, I think a lot of people point out.
He did Moonraker, or he edited.
A lot of people point out in this movie that, and I think you pointed out yourself at the beginning when you were saying how you liked it, that the ending is a little weak, and it is.
Yeah,
because I think Brad Whitaker as a character, Brad Whitaker isn't a great villain.
No,
because we get this guy who's kind of like an arms dealer.
Yeah,
and he's more concerned about playing with his toys than he is with Bond.
Yeah.
I mean, basically the plot is that Koskoff is providing the arms for Whitaker.
Right.
He's taking Whitaker's money, and instead of buying the arms with it, he's buying the opium to sell to make a huge profit, and then he still buys the arms, but now he has a huge profit. So he's screwing Whitaker over. Right. And Whitaker at the end, I mean, that was a great scene where he goes up against Whitaker in his game room, and then he puts the bomb on a thing and it crushes him. But I think the movie's a lot like For Your Eyes Only, where you had two villains that really put together don't make one good one. You know what I mean?
And it was confusing because at first you're like, wait, I thought this guy was the villain. Then you find out like it's Whitaker. He's like he's supposed to be the big bad, but you're like, he's really not.
Yeah, there really is no big. There is no big bad. It was both of them, really.
Right. So it was like not like obviously where the other ones where it's like Goldfinger, where it's one big bad,
Yeah, and I think you're gonna get that as we go on. The villains, I think, get progressively weaker in these movies as you go on. But
that's the best part of a Bond movie is the one is Bond going against one big bad villain, and then the big bad villain has a couple cool henchmen. You know what I mean? Evil henchmen.
Yeah, and the blonde guy was a pretty good evil henchman in this. He's going around. That scene they did in that thing where he's throwing the milk that explodes, the exploding milk, was kind of cool.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
John Rhys Davies, I think, is great as that general. He's a great guy to go with Bond. I think he did an excellent job.
Yeah, no, he wasn't bad, and it sucks because Brad Whitaker or Joe Don Baker. He's actually a great actor too. So if they would have really used him as a big bad, I would have bought it maybe a little bit more.
Right. Well, here's the thing. He's back in the next movie.
Is he?
Playing a different character.
A different character.
Yeah. They must have liked him so much that they brought him back as a different character.
And what's the next one called again?
A License to Kill.
License to Kill. Okay. Yeah, I do not like that cover either. That's like the first worst.
Yeah, the cover is cheesy.
Because all the Bond posters are awesome. I love those paintings, you know what I mean? But this is the first one where I'm like,
they really tried to make it like a realistic Bond against the Cuban drug, agency. It's not bad. I like it.
Oh, and they got Robert Davi.
Robert Davi's the main villain, and he's actually quite good in it.
I was gonna say he is normally very good.
Yeah, he is good. Yeah, Robert Davi's a good villain. So I mean, I don't mind the next one.
And Benicio's in it.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro is a villain, a bad guy, and he's not bad in it either. Yeah, the next movie's not bad. I think you might actually like the next movie.
John Glenn directs it again.
Yeah. So, we get, that's coming up. But 89, when that came out in 89. And in 89, everything bombed. Everything, Star Trek bombed, Bond bombed, because it was up against Batman and Indiana Jones, man, and it couldn't fucking break through those two movies. And it didn't help that, you had two of the weakest Star Trek movie and the weakest Bond film going up against it. So that didn't help. But yeah, this one I always thought, though, was right up there. With the other movies and a very strong opening for Timothy Dalton.
Heck yeah!
Now,
very strong. I really liked Bond. I thought he had a great look because I know him mostly for Doom Patrol and some of his older stuff. But I thought he played the part well.
Yeah, and then you get Q, and we get him, and we get a little bit. I don't like the new Money Penny, but what are you gonna do? You know, it's funny though, is that, and it just shows Hollywood how sexist it is. Yeah, Money Penny, Lois Maxwell was older than shit. She would look how she looked in the last movie. Funny, they kept Q. They didn't recast Q.
Yeah,
but they recast her. So with a younger babe.
Yeah.
So, you know, that it is what it is. But nobody, nobody equals her. No, nobody has ever done it as good as she's done it. So
yeah,
that comes up. But and Q, I think, is with us for at least 2 or 3 more movies. Believe it or not, that man is never gonna die. He did die, but but he was in them for a long time. He really was in them for a long, long time.
Wow.
So yeah, overall, I think my favorite scene in this movie has to be I would say it's gonna be the plane, the fight in the plane.
Fight on the plane.
Really, I like the whole sequence on the plane, and going up against the Russians. How the fuck Koskov lived when a fucking plane hit this fucking vehicle, and he saw this big explosion, and then you go a second ago, and he's like just a little singed, and the plane wing is in his Jeep. Come on.
Yeah.
Same thing when the fucking girl is going to drive on the thing. The gate is like half a million miles off the ground, and all of a sudden she goes right up. But I like that scene. The next one would probably be the car scene with the on the ice. But what's your favorite scene or your favorite chase scene in the movie?
I'd have to go either that opening, because I was looking and I seen that Timothy Dalton was actually hanging off that on top of that thing, like with no really say, like he had a couple things holding him down a bit, but not much, because they wanted him to be able to still like move around and look, and they're like really driving down a mountain, or when he's driving laser beams and cuts the car in half. Those would be my two. Those were awesome.
Yeah, the opening to this is pretty similar to the opening of on a Master Secret Service, where they try to keep Bond under wraps. You're not sure who Bond is. Like in our Master Secret Service, you see him from behind and fighting. You don't see his face till like almost the credits. This is the same thing. All these guys are landing. You don't. Any one of these guys could be Bond, because it's supposed to be a new Bond. You don't see Timothy Dalton till like almost the very end of it, when he goes chasing the guy off in the truck.
Right.
So it was a good reveal on the new James Bond.
Hell yeah.
But it's a great opening when he parachutes in on the fucking babe, and he goes, I'll be there in 2 hours.
And the opening with him doing that's just good. I am so bored. There's only
I want a real man.
I want a real man. And it just pops right in. Oh, and then he's like, grabs the phone. She'll call you back. He's like, I'll need an hour. Make that 2. And so that was just a great way to start off his opening, and then just see that he really wanted to do as many stunts as he possibly could. So I give him some respect.
Yeah, that scene he did on the rooftop where he's being chased and he gets the antenna and he fucking zooming out the antenna. Yeah. He did that pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I give the guy credit for that. I mean, to be doing his own stunts, and especially these
Yeah, well, he did a lot of that in Flash Gordon. Remember, he was almost like a Robin Hood character in Flash Gordon, and he was running around and doing all the jumps and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's another movie I have to watch at some point again. Flash Gordon. That's a great flick.
Heck yeah.
But so I would definitely put this on. This is one of my favorite. This is when we do our top 10. This is definitely going to be high on my list, because it's definitely one of my favorite Bond films.
Really nice.
Living Daylights.
Yeah, I thought Timothy Dalton did great. It is a very good movie. I just wish the ending and the villain was a little stronger, but really, obviously almost every Bond movie isn't perfect by any means. Maybe the couple of the Connerys are pretty perfect, a couple of them, but
well, they had the real ending of this movie is like the whole plane thing.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh shit, that's right, we got to go do something about Joe Don Baker, don't you?"
Right.
I mean, Bond just gets off the whole shit and he goes, "Oh, look where we are. I know a good restaurant. We can make it by dinner time. Let's go."
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. So that's pretty much, I guess. Anything else to say about Living Daylights? It's
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, what did you think of the cello girl? What was her name?
Miriam Diabo. In fact, I
Yeah,
just watched, what movie did I just watch with her in it? She was in a horror movie.
Cara Milvoy.
Yeah.
Well, that's her name in the movie. Let me see.
Yeah, it's Miriam Diabo. And
what would you have seen her in? She's in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
no, she was in she was the girl. Wait a minute, who the fuck was she? She was just in
And she's in that movie Extra, that alien movie. That could be what.
No, I thought she was in a movie I just saw with
And I know you watched that, but that would have been a while ago you watched that.
right. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm looking at her. I'm not, because I know you usually mention
I thought she was in a movie with
Evil Remains and Dorian Gray and Doctor Who: The Monthly Adventures. Genevieve. She's in one episode. Yeah.
I could have swore that she was in she was in some cheesy 80s horror movie. I forget what it was when I first seen it, but she was okay in this.
Yeah, I was
not my favorite Bond girl, but remember they wanted him to go with kind of a nice girl and stuff like that. She was okay. Yeah. Not my favorite, but she was okay.
Yeah, she was just okay. That's why I was curious what you thought. Kind of weird.
And we do get yet another Felix Leiter in this movie, who's with those hot-looking girls. He has a good job, Felix.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got another film. Now, next time, the next movie, we're back to the only Felix Leiter that ever was in more than one James Bond movie was David Hedison comes back. He was in Live and Let Die, and he's playing Felix Leiter in this movie. And he actually has a big part in this one. Unfortunately, doesn't end up well with a shark, but you'll see that tomorrow, next week, whenever we watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, any more to say about this movie? I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, first time watching.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I watched it twice too, so I definitely enjoyed it. I was doing a little bit of, I wanted to kind of hear a little bit about how he got the job and everything. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Once we're done with the whole series, go back on those discs, and each one of the movies have a really good James Bond Confidential documentary, and they're making all those movies.
Yeah.
And those are a great watch to sit down, and watch them because they're really good.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, because I definitely really enjoyed it. I thought, like I said, really my only gripe is a little bit of the ending, and that's mainly because of like the villains, because you could tell that they were like, really the ending is the plane sequence and all that, but then they have to kind of finish it with Whitaker. But other than that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought Timothy Dalton did a fucking fantastic job to start.
Yeah, I agree. One of my favorite Bonds, and he'll be back next time.
Yeah, I was telling you, I really enjoyed his Bond. I thought he did really good. So.
All right, so hope everybody enjoyed our review of The Living Daylights. Join us soon. We'll be doing the next one. Joining on number 16, License to Kill, is coming up. We'll have that for you shortly. And we got good stuff coming up on the channel. Of course, we got Dylan's Horse Show. This week we're doing Creep.
Creep, yeah, which is on Netflix.
Doing Creep. Join us every Sunday night at 9:30, at least for the next few weeks, at 10:30, while we do a Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live reviews. Those have been doing well, and those have been a lot of fun to do.
Yeah,
We have a special review coming up for this Friday night because of St. Patrick's Day. We're gonna hit you up with Leprechaun in space. No, we're not. Leprechaun
No,
goes to Vegas.
yeah,
Where's he going? Is he going to the hood? Is he going to
no,
Vegas or where is he going?
yeah. Because I was debating if we should have done 2 and 3, but because we did 1 back in the day,
Right.
but I
want to go
really
to Vegas, baby.
I wanted to go to Vegas, so that's Leprechaun 3. We'll do 2 We'll do 2 next year or something.
I feel you can watch.
We're not gonna do space next year, so we'll just go back and do 2. It doesn't really matter.
We'll hit space eventually, but
we'll hit space the year.
I think we gotta go to the hood a couple times before we do space.
Oh man, we gotta go to the hood and back. But yeah, I love Leprechaun.
I feel that Leprechaun movies can be watched in any order. I don't really.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't think you need to concisely follow the order.
That's Leprechaun 3 that goes to Vegas. So
don't forget, join us Friday night live at 10:30 while we're doing Leprechaun 3, and hopefully we'll get this out before that.
and we should have Dexter season.
Well, we're gonna be reviewing season 1 of Dexter soon. So hey, a lot of shit going on, maybe more. So join us for all that.
Hell yeah.
Hey Dylan, thank you for joining me once again for James Bond.
Of course, brother.
Everybody out there, have a good day or night whenever you're watching this, and we'll catch you next week or sometime for License to Kill.
Yes.
Later, man.
Peace out, y'all.